Hey, y'all, welcome back to the mini episode of Decide Your Best Life. Today, I'm talking about a topic that every single one of us have dealt with in our lives. You are not immune, you are not the only one, and that is the topic of rejection. You know, we have all been rejected so many times in life. Most recently, I have been rejected for something that I applied for and I got a no. And guess what? I'm going to tell you today 3 steps that I have really used for myself, and I have helped clients do this time and time again. And I know not everyone will handle things the way that I do, but a lot of my clients, we really see eye to eye on, how we handle certain things and how we are going to move through them. So today I want to talk about why, honestly, rejection is good for you. It really is. I think there's 3 main things about how you can move through getting that no or being rejected. And I hopefully that today, when we talk about these things, it'll really help you because, like I said, you're not immune. You are not the only one who has been rejected from something or got a no. And Bethany Frankel, I love her. I know she's very polarizing. I think, people love her or hate her. I don't agree with everything she has to say, but it's just like everything else, like there's people in this world that, you like some of the things that they have to say and you don't like some of the things that they have to say. But overall, I think Bethany Frankel is a boss businesswoman, and I think she has created her life by deciding that she's going to figure out a way to yes, even when she gets rejected. And a quote that she said on one of her podcasts that I was listening to is, "No is just a starting point for her." And so I kind of thought that that was really good. And rejection, the same thing. Like when you get rejected from something, it is just a starting point to get to yes. So today I want to talk about 3 reasons why I think rejection is a good thing. So number 1 is don't take it personally. Literally try your best not to take it personally. Sometimes I do think that we have to take things personally and we really have to reflect, like, is this a me thing? Nathan and I were talking about the other day, and this could piss a few people off, but I'm just going to say it because I think it's a really good example. So Nathan and I were going to go to Vegas for J-Lo's concert in July. And most recently, we've seen that she's canceled her world tour. So unfortunately, we're not going to that. We canceled our trip and moved it. We're going to go to a different concert. But, I think she's been divorced like what, 5 times now? Like it's been like 4 or 5 times for sure. And Nathan and I were talking, and he's like, you know what? This might be a time for her to look within and be like, what is the problem with me? What do I need to change with me? Because there is a common denominator here. And so I'm not trying to piss a few people off, but at the same time too, like, I mean, I am not afraid to piss a few people off because I know that there's going to be people that agree with me, and we're all allowed to have opinions. They're like assholes. Everyone has them. But, the common denominator, okay, like you've gone through 5 divorces. What do you need to change in order to better yourself? And it's just like rejection. When you get rejected, if you've gotten rejected time and time and time and time again, it's almost like, okay, look in the mirror. How do you improve yourself? But rejection is a good thing, I think, sometimes, because if you get rejected once, it's like, okay, it allows you to decide that, like, this is not the path for me. And what is the most beneficial path for me? Like, if you got a no to this, maybe it's redirecting you to something better. A personal example for me was when I was playing professional golf, and like right after I transitioned from playing golf full time to doing more corporate events and more television, I got rejected like 3 times for big television gigs. And unfortunately, at the time, I felt like, and I definitely did not have the mindset that I have today. That was one of the big catalysts for me, like ending my golf career and really figuring out what I wanted to do. But I got rejected so many times for other people that I said, what's wrong with me? Why are they better than me? And, what do they have that I don't have? And truth be told is that honestly, those rejections redirected me to what I was supposed to be doing. If I think back about being on television doing golf stuff now, oh my God, that would be the worst thing ever. And at the time, I thought it was the worst thing ever, but it redirected me to what I really truly wanted to be doing. And at the time, it hurt. It sucked. I got a no. And it never feels good, but also how quickly can you get over that and use it as a redirection to what you're supposed to be doing? So I honestly think that, that's the number 1 thing is like, reframe it. Don't take it personally. How fast can you not take it personally? Like, if it's the common denominator thing, like what can you look in yourself and what can you change in yourself? But if you got one rejection, it's like, okay, cool. What's the next thing? How can I get clear on what it is that I want? How do I find the next person to, reach out to, or the next thing to do? It really puts you on the path. If you allow it to, if you have the mindset, it puts you on the path of like, okay, what can I do now? Like, if it wasn't this, what can I do next? And it gets you clear too. Like, also, I remember who is it in basketball? I think it was someone in basketball that says like, you get 500 no's, that, you're getting much closer to the next yes. And you have to be willing to get a lot of no's. I tell you all the time, let's jump on a free clarity call. On this call, I'm going to help you get clear on one mindset or strategy that might be holding you back from getting what you want in your either personal or professional life. I do hundreds of these calls. And guess what? I'm telling you that some people ask about what it would look like to be coached by me and be in a coaching container together. And usually 1 out of 3 people say yes. So that means I'm getting 2 no's every single time I get on, 3 calls. I'm getting a shit ton of no's. But I guarantee you, the more calls that I do, I'm going to get more yeses. So for me, it's just like, I know that I'm going to get no's. Am I ever going to let it stop me? If someone's not for me, if someone doesn't like me, if someone unfollows me, someone gives me a negative comment, nope, I just know that I'm getting closer and closer to the next thing, the next yes. So you miss 500 shots, that means that hopefully the next one's going to go in. That's a big part of sales. Are you afraid to get a no? Are you afraid to, get someone who doesn't like you? There's going to be tons of people that don't like you. There are going to be tons of people who say no to you, but it gets you clear. It gets you closer to the person who's going to say yes. It gets you clearer on your messaging. It gets you clearer on what it is that you want to be doing. It gets you clearer on, how to make a sale, whatever it is. But like, the more you get rejected, the better you get at getting clarity on what it is that you need to be doing to do it better. So more focus, and, for every shot you miss, it just means that you're getting a lot closer to the one that you're going to make. And then also too, I think the last thing when it comes to rejection and why it's a good thing, and not everyone is like this, and I don't think everyone has to be like this, but for me, I use a no as fuel. I am an extremely competitive person. And obviously, I don't work with only people who are very competitive, but I will say, if you have that competitive bone in you, oftentimes a no can be used as fuel, as like, I'll fucking show you. And you don't have to like, it doesn't have to be in a negative connotation. Like, it doesn't have to be like, F you, I'll show you. It can be like, okay, you told me no, no problem, but let me prove it to you. Let me show you. A person who has something like that inside of them, the person who has that, like, I will not use no as an answer. I will find a way to yes. And the person who has the thing inside of them that has that burning desire to do it no matter what, like when I got rejected from television, I'll tell you 100%, had I truly, truly wanted to play professional golf, had I truly wanted to do television, I guarantee you, I'd have taken 500 no's to get my one yes. I would have kept going. And you hear this about a ton of, actors and actresses and models and singer-songwriters and all of the things. They keep going until they get a yes. They keep using that rejection as fuel to get clear. What else can I be doing? What's working? What's not working? So rejection is definitely a good thing if you allow it to be. I've said it 100 times before on my full-length podcast, is that like, so many people use rejection and so many people use getting a no as a negative thing. But when you can use it as such a good thing, it just gets you clearer and clearer on what you want. It gets you clearer and clearer on your messaging. It gets you clearer and clearer on what you need to work on or what you're good at. It's just all feedback. And if you use it like that and not take it personally and not make it mean something that it doesn't, mindset wise, so many people use a rejection as like, I am bad, I am not worthy. None of that shit is true. It's just like, it just gets you closer to what you need to hone in on, what you need to work on. I know there's a shit ton of things that I need to work on. Do I look at it as like, woe is me, I'll never do it again? Or do I look at it as like, okay, that just gave me feedback on what I need to improve on, what I need to work on, what do I need to take action on? It's just plain and simple. So I think the moral of this podcast is don't let it mean anything. Don't let it stop you, and just use it to get you clearer and clearer on what you need to do to get that yes. And I will say too, for the people who know they want to be doing something in this world, they want that thing so fucking badly. I will tell you, oftentimes that is the thing that will keep you going. When I tell you that sometimes this job is so fucking hard, it's so hard to help a person who doesn't want to be helped sometimes. It's so hard to convince a person that you have the magic keys in order to help them, have the life that they want. And they're gonna have to invest in it, and they're gonna have to work at it. Sometimes this job is really fucking hard. But I promise you, the reason how I can keep going is because I know this isn't about me. I literally know this is not about me. I know that God has put this in my soul. I know my job is to help people get over their bullshit in order to help them. Sometimes the greatest thing that I can do is really work with a person. I've done this hundreds of times. And you know what? There's people who, if there are coaches out there who do not help a potential client get to yes, they don't go back and forth with them and show them how they might be holding themselves back. I don't think that you're doing your responsibility as a coach. I always go back and forth with a person. I always try to show them how them getting to a yes for themselves, for their life, for their business, for their families, for their relationships, for their kids, how that could ultimately change their life. That's my job. And that's the thing inside of me that I will always forever do, because I will be honest, this is a God thing for me. This isn't about me. And whatever it is in your life that you want to do that you may have gotten rejected from, if it is a God thing, if it is in you, just use the rejection as fuel to get clear on how to get to a yes. And don't make it mean anything about you. Just use it as information to get to the next yes. So I hope this helped you in regards to the rejection. Don't look at it as a negative thing all the time. Obviously, self-reflection is good, but at the end of the day, just use it to fuel you, use it as clarity, use it as momentum to get to the next yes. I will see you tomorrow.